The other day, my 8-year-old daughter said something that we can all relate to. She said, "Mom, I may not always remember what you say, and I may not always do every single thing that you tell me. But what I do is when you tell me stories that we do talk about at bedtime." And it made me think about something really important. Why is it that emotional storytelling do much more when you just have it with facts? So for instance, for me, when I was talking with my 8-year-old, I would tell her all the fun facts about when you brush your teeth at night. What happens when you keep your clean room? What happens when you have your clean clothes set apart from your dirty clothes? I'm telling her all these important things, and none of it would ever stick with her until and unless I associated it with stories. So for example, if I said to her, "Oh, you know why it's so important to clean your room? Is because the fairies come in from this very far away enchanted forest, and they come in and they make sure and they go to all the people that clean their rooms because they sprinkle it with fairy dust and they make sure that you have magic." Now listen, this is what works when I'm trying to connect with an 8-year-old audience. Same thing applies to you when you want to apply to your audience. Here's the question. Why does emotional storytelling work much better than facts? The answer is simple. Because emotions, they move people much more than facts. And when you are able to move people, they are able to take action. Now, I had a presentation many years ago when I worked for Starbucks Corporate. We were in an international marketing meeting and we were rolling out tea to all of these big countries. And I had made this presentation slide and it was loaded with facts and stats and these beautiful slides. I had spent so much time putting this together, doing so much analysis to make it memorable for people. But let me tell you what happened. And this is what you can use too. As I was talking, I started seeing a shift in my audience. Here's the telltale signs. When you see your audience sitting up and leaning into your conversation, you know they are listening. But once you see your audience kind of slumping back in their chairs, their eyes starting to go downwards, those are 2 telltale signs that you are losing your audience. So when I started to see this happen with the presentation I was doing, I was like, look guys, let me just break this down to you. And I went into story about tea is so much more than a thirst quencher for so many people, so many cultures and cities that we're rolling this product out into. Tea is a conversation starter. It's a place where you sit down, you gather, and you tell people, and it stops time almost, and it talks about, so what was your day like? What happened? Why is this moment important right now? And it all happens in so many cultures around the world around a cup of tea. And for me, it's a cup of chai that I share with so many that about when we talk about what is happening and it stops time for us. So this is what I share. And after our presentation, guess what they remembered? None of the slides, none of the facts, but they remembered the story. So if you want your audience, and if you start seeing these telltale signs of eyes starting to go back downwards and bodies starting to go backwards in their chairs, you know you need to stop what you're saying and start with a story. And not just a story that carries on forever, but a story that uses the arc that we have talked about before. A very clear hook, the beginning, a very challenge which is the heart of your story, and a clear resolution, which is your home. You always want to have a hook, heart, home when it comes to your story. If you want to learn more about this, if you really want to engage your audience and make your message powerful, whether you're in a meeting, whether you've got a board presentation coming up, whether you've got a conversation with somebody that you really want to upsell and or get some new things out about your product or service, use story and use the framework that we've been talking about. And if you want to learn more about this, sign up for my free storytelling masterclass. It's all in the information below. Check it out. There's a link below for my free storytelling masterclass. Sign up and find out how you can tell a story and what story structure you can use to make your message not only memorable, but connect with your audience. Check it all out at nehanegandhi.com. You're a CEO, founder, or entrepreneur who is ready to turn your story into your superpower? Join Storyteller's Table today.